This video is made for adult collectors. Hello internet, I'm Roffy Offensive Recorder Offensive, that's my name, don't wear it out, and I love Transformers. I have so many that they're taking over my room, and since the boxes are 99% air, I've decided to open them up. And today, we have the Netflix Astrotrain. I've wanted this guy for a while, but he's always been out of my reach. $50 retail wasn't something my dad would go for, and $100 resale isn't something I'd go for. So I let him stew for a while until I felt I could justify buying it. And he was stagnant for a while online until the 86 was revealed. Then the clock started ticking, because this thing exploded on the aftermarket, boosting its price to around $200, and people were scooping it up left and right. So when I got the 86, I immediately started looking for one online before they were all sold out. Luckily, I got one for $90, and he showed up the day that I was going to post the 86 video. So all that yapping aside, I've been incredibly impatient to open this thing up. I need to open this thing up, but first let's look at the box. This is the Earthrise version. Aside from it being green, the main difference is the illustration. Instead of the robot mode, they put the shuttle, and that's smart because we already know what the robot mode looks like, and newer toys know this, so they show off whichever mode the toy isn't on the box. Taking a look at the back of the box, we get to see all three of the alt modes, and they look amazing. And if you know me, you know I love trains. Here it's a vintage steam engine locomotive, and they even gave it a headlight and a chimney. It kind of has a cow catcher too, but I don't really know about that. On the side, it has a lot of details, so I'm ready to see what it looks like in my hand. Next, the shuttle is kind of interesting. I know this mode has a lot of issues, and the upgrade kit for this thing is pretty popular. The nose is smaller than that piece right there, and then the back of the shuttle is all exposed. I don't want to call it ugly too quickly, so I'm ready to see what this looks like in hand. It also shows this little battle station, so I'm assuming it's the boxcar that it brings, and I don't know how I missed this, but there are a lot of guns there. Finally, we have the robot mode. We get to see every little detail this thing has. I think all the greebling is perfect and amazing. It doesn't do too much, but it also isn't bland. It captures such a futuristic look. It reminds me very much of Star Wars. It has so many details, and I love it, but it also shows us one issue. Unlike the 86 version, it has a big ass gap in its inner calf. I forgot this thing was open when I bought it, but out of the box, his plastic looks a bit yellow. And remember how I said I didn't notice the guns earlier? He brings so many. I can see why this guy was 50 bucks. This guy brings so much. So I thought the calves were the problem. I thought they were too heavy, but it seems like the body actually is. The knees give out and he bends backwards. So I thought the yellowing on the toy was noticeable. The yellowing on the cab was much worse, especially on this piece right here with the wheels. Now the weapons are perfect. He brings so many options, and I love how big and beefy they are. They really show off how much of a powerhouse he is, and it gives him this heavy weapons guy tank vibe. A little note about the instructions is that they're enormous, and it's printed front to back, and it's a little intimidating. They give me flashbacks to the 86 and how terrible that transformation was, but with how sturdy this guy looks, I'm sure it won't be as stressful as that. So starting on the figure, he's nice and heavy and has great articulation. He pretty much has everything. His shoulders go up but crash into this hinge, and if you need more clearance, they can also pop out. He has a bicep swivel and has double elbows, but unfortunately he does not have a wrist swivel. So his backpack is not as bad as the 86. I don't even think you can really count this as a backpack. The wings are great, and they are just the perfect size. Not too big and not too small, and the jet boosters here are amazing. They didn't need to make them silver, but they did, and that is love. The rest of the articulations are great. Thankfully, he has a waist twist because usually bulkier guys are just one big piece. For his legs, he has a skirt, his hips go front to back and side to side. He has a thigh twist, and as you saw earlier, his knees don't really hold his weight too good. His calves crash into his wings, but you can move this little bit right here if it doesn't bug you, but the back of the thighs do crash into the calves. As for the ankles, they hinge in the back like a bird. They also have this little tilt on the side, which actually helps a lot with the posing. This weird thin part reminds me of that flimsy bit on the 86, but I think this one feels more sturdy, like I don't have to worry about it snapping. And finally, the colors are interesting and a little confusing. After a good look, this figure actually uses two different types of plastics and multiple shades of the same color. First things first, the main gray is fine, but it's turning this buttery color, leaving the joints that are made out of a different plastic the lighter shade that it should be. Then he has another gray for the battle damage that's dark but sparkly. Now the purple was tricky. For a second I couldn't tell if it was purple paint or purple plastic, but it turns out it's actually both. Anything over the gray, like on the arms arms or the shoulders is paint, but anything like the wings or the legs are actually purple plastic. The gray on top is paint too, and that's another shade of gray that's lighter and glossy. I wish the entire toy was this color, and I think that is something that the 86 does a lot better, is that its colors are nice and vibrant. Now let's talk about the little details, the red and the yellow. We get a little red with the eyes and the fake fin on the stomach. Just like the rest of the colors, it's on the deeper shades of red, and it's almost maroonish, but it doesn't stop it from popping. The yellow pops too. It's very industrial and reminds me of caution tape or a construction vehicle. And then on his leg here, he has this stripe decal thing. Like, what even is this? A window? Here it uses lighter colors that feel more fitting to the character. The coal car is interesting. It turns into a battle station, but the instructions say it can also become armor. But on the robot mode, it's straight up pointless. Giving him bigger feet and a backpack is insanely unnecessary. He already struggles with standing up straight, so the backpack doesn't help, and the big feet don't either. The moon shoes, as they're called, remind me of the 86's ankles and how enormous they are, but he already stood fine normally, so I don't understand why they had to give them those big feet. Now it's time to move on to the transformation. Unlike the 86, this doesn't make me want to snap the toy in half. He goes from robot to jet to train. We start by putting his hands into the gap, then twist the whole arm around, and we take the forearm and tab it into the shoulders. Then the whole arm flips over the head with these tabs on his elbows pointing out. Next, we unpin these pieces on the sides of the chest and flip everything up, revealing the fin and hiding the face. Then we need to make sure that the fin gets pinched by the arms. We gotta bring the wings all the way up, and then they'll tab into this purple hinge. The door with the jet booster swings up and tabs into the arms. Then we move down and untab the foot, and it swings around to tab into the stud back here. Then we take the cabin and it swings back to hide the legs and reveal the nose. Then we take everything and close it up, and that's the shuttle mode finished. I really love the shuttle mode. All of the stuff that's exposed back here isn't really that bad. The worst part is this big gap in the middle here, but the part in the back where the fin isn't as bad as people say. The nose being smaller than the cabin is awkward, and the 86 does fix this by having the train mode not store in the same spot, and it may be awkward, but if the trade on the design is this, then I'd take the Netflix's engineering over the 86's any day. From here, we can quickly turn him into the train mode. All we need to do is open this up, spin this around, flip these out, close it up and push this down, fold it all back up. Then we take the wings and drop them down to wrap them around the entire thing, and they tab into the shoulders. Then we spin the back wheels around first, then it drops the front wheels down and it tabs them all in, finishing off the train mode. So I obviously love the train mode, but as we all know, triple changes have one mode that gets compromised, and in my opinion, it's this one. It's very tiny compared to the other modes and the 86. I didn't touch on this earlier because I wanted to talk about it when we actually got to see it, but he has black paint, and this makes me a little worried. The Autobot counterpart to Astrotrain is called Galaxy Shuttle, and he has a new toy released for the Legacy Unite line, and he has horrible chipping and scratching on his black paint. Now, I don't know if it's the same type of paint that's shared between the figs, but it kind of seems like it is. On Astrotrain, the black paint is matte and even a little grainy, and it kind of makes your hands dry when you touch it. And on Galaxy, I know that the paint chips on this hinge for the wheels, and you can even see that on both of the toys, the black just kind of sucks, especially on the line down the middle. But what stresses me out on Astrotrain is that the nose of the train, when in robot mode, stores directly under the knees. All that aside, there's so much to love about this mode. The smokestack and the headlight are lovely touches to the design, and I'm mad that the 86 doesn't really do these. Having silver paint is just the touch of love it needs. Silver headlights, silver pipes, and silver windows. Although I do wish we got the windows in yellow like in the 86 instead of silver, it's still beautiful nonetheless. And with the pipes and valves and tanks on the side, even though they're not painted, it gives a lot of depth to the figure. Do I wish that it got the wheel rods like the 86? Maybe, but they're very unnecessary anyways, and the figure isn't any worse without them. So the car combined with the vehicles is literally what it's for, so they make a lot more sense and they look great. Combined with the train, it becomes a coal car. This is such a genius move. It adds to the mode by making it longer, and with it being as thin as it already is, it makes it feel like a real model train, and that really scratches my monkey brain. And so what's even better about this is that it becomes weapon storage, and we all know that doing good weapon storage right is a big plus. It becomes a creative way to just make the weapons disappear, and not only that, this is the only version of Astrotrain that brings a coal car, and I freaking love it. With the shuttle, it combines to make the launch pad, and it looks fantastic. While while working on this video, I've had him like this the entire time, and I think that's just how I'm gonna leave him. The mode makes this toy feel like a toy, and you can add a bunch of things like blast effects, guns, and it even will scale with headmasters. I know this thing is supposed to combine with the modulators and even micromasters, and I know they're called battle masters, but it works so well with random crap too. And having the rockets sit up straight like they do in real life makes this toy feel more like a spaceship and less like a jet. Because the 86 lies down, it makes him look like just a regular plane. And I think that's everything I have to say about the toy itself. But now it's time to ask the big question. Is he better than the 86? Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. This is the definitive version of the toy in character. But is he perfect? No, but he gets very close. His design compared to the 86 is way better. While the 86 is straight up bland, the Netflix has a lot of love and care put into his details. Like a work of art, every little thing seems to have some sort of thought behind it. Like I said, he just looks so sci-fi. Like a 90s movie where they just made it look busy with panels and pipes and buttons just hanging out all over the place. And I think this represents the character a lot better than the 86. He's big, bulky, and beefy, just straight up mean, menacing even. I would even say that he fits in with other recognizable brutes like the Hulk, Bane, Venom, Juggernaut, beefcakes like these. And the 86 has nothing of substance. He looks goofy and weird and reminds me of Offspring from Romulus. The 86 is just lanky and pale. And speaking of that, he's also taller than the Netflix, but who really cares about that? What actually is important is that the 86 has way better colors than the Netflix version, and the yellowing is really upsetting too. If he had better colors, like if he was painted the glossy gray of the wings, he'd definitely be the whole package. And my final 2 points is the transformation and posability. Netflix beats out the 86 with how simple and easy the transformation is. In the 2 weeks that I've been working on this video, I've transformed the Netflix version countless times and he has never been an issue. He's simple and easy to remember, but when it came to do the 86, this was where I felt like it ate up so much of my time. Everything wrong with the 86 is still wrong with it. I still hate a lot of things about the 86 and the process of transforming him. Things still don't line up and tab into place, and he's still as flimsy as ever. Sometimes I swear the plastic even feels sweaty. I still hate transforming the 86, but the modes are definitely prettier and it's just a hassle to deal with. The Netflix version does have really cool modes, but I think that the Netflix hits a cooler action vibe, while the cartoon accurate 86 feels very deluxe in its modes, even fixing some awkward points the Netflix had in its immediate predecessor. And with how solid the transformation is on Netflix, you've seen how great I've been able to pose him. Compared to 86, there is no contest that the Netflix does a better job and can be displayed in every mode and look wonderful. While the 86 has been left in vehicle mode for the most part because I can't find a cool pose for him and he just looks lame, and the only time he's ever in another mode was when I had to. And I hate transforming him so much that he's just left in whichever mode he was in last. So as I was about to wrap this up and put the 86 away, I was transforming him into a vehicle mode so I can put him into a corner, but he just fell apart into 3 different pieces. So my verdict was that the 86 has its merits, like the colors and such, but after this, my frustration and hatred towards the 86 has hit an all-time high. This toy has degraded in these joints from the transformation, and now after I put him back together, he doesn't even stand up. He doesn't stay balanced. So the Netflix is definitely the better version of the character. The 86 is absolute garbage, so I shoved his ass into the shit closet with the Byway Megatron. If you can get your hands on the Netflix one, I say go for it. And with how absolutely frustrating and terrible the 86 is, it makes the issues with the Netflix feel like nothing at all, and that's why I'm giving the Netflix a 9 out of 10, because I can absolutely look past the yellowing and I can't even remember whatever else I was upset about. I'm so happy with the Netflix version that I began to look into an upgrade kit or a modulator to pair him up with, so if that does sound interesting, comment down below which one you'd like to see next, and to see that, you gotta subscribe.